Hello there everybody and welcome back to another music video makeup Monday. Today's I'm excited for a few reasons. Number one, this artist is so big, so amazing, literally one of my goals. I don't know where I was going with that, but basically what I'm saying is that I'm excited for today's video. Today we are doing Shakira's look from whenever, wherever. We are going to talk about Miss Shakira. We're going to talk about how she started, all of that jazz, you know, the usual drill. And then a little bit about the song, its performance, all of that sort of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, please keep watching and hit that subscribe button. You know. Given that this is a pretty old music video, the quality is not per se A1, so I'm just going to do my best impression of what it is that I see on my screen. Hopefully it comes out somewhat similar for you guys, but all in all, I think you guys should enjoy it. It's a fun little look. Miss Shakira. Shakira was born by the name Shakira Isabel Mubarak Ripoli, and she was born February 2nd, 1977. 70s baby. And she was born in Barranquilla, Colombia. Look, man, I'm not Colombian. I got cousins who are Colombian, but I'm not Colombian, so if I said that wrong, I'm sorry that I let all of you guys down. But that's what it looks like. I don't know. Barranquilla, Colombia. Anyways, she is the only child to her parents, though she did have 8 older half-siblings from her dad's side. Her father was born in New York to parents who were from Lebanon, and then her mom was Colombian. Given that she does have Ripoli in her name, it is suspected that she has a little bit of Italian in her heritage as well, but that's for the most part Colombian mom, Lebanese dad, somewhere Italian. Her name now, Shakira, which is what we all know her as, it actually has a pretty cool name. The name comes from the masculine name Shakir, which means grateful in Lebanese. So Shakira is the feminine version of Shakir. So grateful was basically what she was named. She was raised Catholic and throughout her childhood went to Catholic schools. It was said that in school she was actually a very smart kid, pretty high IQ, all of that jazz. She just was she was one of those kids similar to another musician that we talked about on this channel, Mr. David Bowie, who just was young and just gifted from the jump. At the age of 4 years old, she wrote her very first poem, which she titled La Rosa de Cristal, which is the crystal rose. Growing up, her father was a pretty big inspiration to her. He was a writer, and being a writer, he would write on a typewriter, which I thought was crazy, but then at the same time I remembered, wait a minute, we haven't always had computers, Nicolette. But she would watch him write on the typewriter, and she was inspired by him and was like, hey dad, I want a typewriter too. And so at the age of 7 years old, it said that her parents gifted her a typewriter to start writing on. Pretty cool to know that that gift, you know, was something that, you know, she really got to use, and to this day she still writes poems and writes poetry. Eventually though, the poetry did turn into songs, which we are about to get into. When she was 2 years old, like I said, she had 8 half-siblings from her dad's previous marriage or previous relationship, and one of her half-brothers actually passed away in a motorcycle accident, and her first song that she wrote when she was 8, and he passed when she was 2. And the song that she wrote when she was 8 was called Tus Gafas Oscuras, which means your dark glasses. And that song was basically inspired by her father, because her father would wear dark glasses to hide his grief from losing his son. Sad, but also like interesting, you know, form of creativity to write a song about something so sad. Now I know that this is overall kind of a lot of information when it comes to Shakira, especially from her like very young age to like growing up, but at the age of 4 now. You know, she's doing a lot of things in her younger years, but at the age of 4, her dad actually took her to a Middle Eastern restaurant in which she listened to the music that was played, and there's a drum called a dumberlek, or dumbek, something like that. All I know is that in my language of Greek, they call it like a dumberleki, something like that. I don't know, Nicola, don't come at me. But it's a drum that's used in Middle Eastern and like Mediterranean cultures that just has a freaking sick sound. And so they were playing this traditional drum in this restaurant, and she just got up and started dancing away. She loved the way that it sounded, and basically from that experience on, she knew that she wanted to do some sort of performance, you know, art in her life. It was a very like moving period for her. Now we kind of move on to her school, and while she was in school, she definitely did try out to be a singer, you know, be in the school choir, and you know, I'm sure you know how that went. Choir rejected her because she had too much vibrato. It's just, I don't know, when it comes to school, it drives me insane sometimes. This is me going off wall right now, but you know, it's when it comes to creativity and stuff, sometimes these teachers just are like, you don't fit the stereotypical, like you don't sound like Adele. So it's like, look, but you still sound interesting, like let's, you know, add some, you know, let's water this seed. But they didn't say that. So to add fuel to that annoying fire, the teacher not only told her that, hey, you know, you got too much vibrato, it's not for us, you're not going to be in the choir. The teacher also told her she sounded like a goat. What? When I read that, I was like, huh? Can you freaking imagine you're in school and your teacher's like, yo, I can't have you be in the choir because you sound like a goat. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so glad she went on to become who she became, because I cannot stand teachers. Let me say this again. I can't not stand all teachers, but teachers like this I can't stand. Past just enjoying singing in school, she really started to do her dancing thing and really started to enjoy dancing. And so every Friday she would kind of do a class number revolving around dancing. And she was kind of known in her school as the belly dance girl, which I thought was so cute. Can you imagine? Little Shakira, I want to be your friend, and I want you to teach me your ways. It was also said that to instill a form of gratitude, her dad actually took her to a local park that was there in Colombia and showed her the orphans that lived there. And she said that basically seeing that, you know, in a young age, she kind of told herself again, like, hey, I want to be in performance. I want to do something in that category and just become famous at it so that I can help these kids out. And, you know, this dad seems awesome. I'm just saying that. Like, he seems like more kids need to see that type of stuff, because it's like there's a lot of people that need help in this world. And I wish people had the eyes and the hearts to see that, because some people just don't. They really think like people deserve to be in their positions, and yeah, kudos to this dad. That's all I can say. Between the ages of 10 and 13, Shakira was kind of making her name in Colombia. People were seeing her everywhere. She was kind of doing different shows, showcases, all that type of stuff, and people were starting to get to know who she was. And she caught the attention of a theater producer called Monica Arisa. And Monica was like, hey, we got to figure out how to get this girl going, because I see so much potential for her. And so on one of her flights from Barranquilla to Bogota, she convinced the Columbia executive to take her up and basically have her do an audition for him. This guy's name was Ciro, I don't know how to say the first name, Vargas, I don't know the way to say it properly, but that was his name. And basically they did like a tape basically downstairs, and they just were like, okay, self-tape, let's have you do a quick audition real quick for Sony. we're gonna film you here in this hotel lobby and I'm gonna take it back to my Sony execs. And when he took her back to the Sony execs were like, I don't see it. Well, this guy, Mr. Vargas, he was like not taking no for an answer. After seeing Shakira for himself, he was like, nah, like this girl, she got talent. What are we talking about, y'all? Like, what are we talking about? And so he set up basically a secret operation to have them see her. They were under the impression they were going to go see somebody else do an audition, but it ended up being her at the audition, and she performed 3 songs for these Sony executives in person, and they signed her on the spot. So clearly their little lobby tape didn't do enough, but seeing her in person, it was like, actually, I take that back. The execs went ahead and signed her for 3 albums. And the first album was a Spanish album called Magia, or I don't know how to say it. I'm saying it how I would say it in Greek. So, I don't know, M-A-G-I-A. First album was dropped when she was only 13 years old. The album overall did okay. I mean, it did okay. It was a 13-year-old, so I mean, come on, what do you expect? I mean, not everybody's Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. It did okay, and overall, like in Colombia, people kind of messed with it, and it got her a lot of exposure. But all in all, like internationally, it only sold about 1,200 copies, so wasn't like a smash success by any means. Though at the time she wasn't crazy well known from a bunch of people, she was invited to perform at Viña del Mar International Song Festival, in which she did perform her song Eres, and did get 3rd place in the competition. One of the judges who was on the panel actually was Ricky Martin, who at the time was just 20 years old, man. Little Ricky. Her second album was Peliagro, but that was her second album, and she was not very happy with the production of it, so she didn't really like promote it too much. Didn't make Sony happy overall, but you know, she just was like, yeah, I'm not messing with this. So yeah, it was considered a commercial failure due to the fact that she didn't promote it, but nonetheless it did a lot better number-wise than her first album. Her next album that she dropped was called Pies Descalzos. Oh my god, I hope I'm saying all this right. And that was released in 1995. In the US though, in 1996. The album actually ended up going number 5 on the US Billboard Top Latin charts, so it really did start to put her on the map. In 1996, Shakira went on her first international tour, and it consisted of 20 shows and ended in 1997. Also in that year, Shakira received 3 Billboard Latin Music Awards for Album of the Year for her album, and Video of the Year for Estoy Aquí, as well as Best New Artist. Her 4th album was called Donde Están los Ladrones? And basically the name of the album and the album itself was inspired by an incident that happened to her in the airport. She was in the airport and basically lost her luggage, and the luggage had all of her writings in them. So yeah, I guess she had to rewrite everything. And she was like, you know, if I gotta rewrite all this, I'm gonna name this album after what happened to me. With this album also came some successes. She was nominated for a Grammy for this album. And MTV Unplugged was like plugging it everywhere, like it was a big deal. And during that time, she decided, you know what, like I'm getting some success on the Latin charts, let me try and move into the US English sort of charts, and that's what she did. Now we start getting into this song, Whenever, Wherever. She started to learn English through her friend, Miss Gloria Esteban. She worked for over a year on creating new content for this album, her upcoming English album. First leading single off of this new album was Whenever, Wherever, which is where we are today, basically. What we're creating today is the whenever, wherever look. This was the first song that was released as a single for the album, and it was also released in a Spanish version called Suerte, which I had no idea. I feel kind of dumb because I know I've watched this video like so many times, and I never realized that she's singing it in Spanish, but it's English words. My brain. The song took really heavy influence throughout its creation by Andean music. It's safe to say it became an international success. It reached number 6 on the US Hot 100s. The song was produced by Tim Mitchell and was also co-written by Gloria Estefan herself. Overall, the song got a lot of positive praise from a lot of people. People compared it to being the song that basically like broke her per se in the US. They would compare it to Ricky Martin's Livin' La Vida Loca, and they were like, yeah, like this is basically her song, her version of that for the US. People also called it infectious, and it became her first single to reach the top 10 in the charts. So I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. The music video itself is pretty sick. It shows Shakira kind of like in the water, in the mountains, in the desert, super CGI background. And she's just singing, she's dancing, doing her, you know, belly dance work, and she's just being cool, man. She is just a cool cat. I really like Shakira. So it's a cool little music video. It's worth checking out. To this day, it has 144 million views, which was kind of surprising to me because it doesn't sound like a lot, but I guess it was before the YouTube era. But yeah, this is the look. This basically wraps up this music video makeup look the best that I could in comparing to what I see on the video. It does not look like she's wearing any fake eyelashes. Shakira, if you look at any of her other music videos, she's a pretty bare bones kind of person. Like everything is pretty minimal. This was the most elaborate I could find of her makeup wise. So you don't need falsies for this. First one in a while. And you know, it's a pretty simple look. You just gotta go slow when it comes to the dark tones so that you don't like mess it up. Working with dark colors sometimes can be a little bit stressful, but you know, we get through it. But yeah, it's a pretty fun look. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, down in the description you'll see all the products I use, as well as some outfits that look kind of comparable. So if that's something that interests you, please check it out down below. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next music video makeup Monday. See ya!